And in Drake's last beef with Pusha T, after losing, Drake made his first appearance on LeBron James' show, The Shop, and it became a whole Nike propaganda tool because both of them are Nike assets to kind of slowly make the audience realize why Drake had to back out of the beef, why he still is the bigger man, and they sort of rolled out the red carpet for him to come back into the fold after that loss and go on the incredible run that we've seen him have on Scorpion with the hits, the tours. This has never happened in rap history ever, that someone had lost a beef and came back and was able to go on tours and make money and be marketable everywhere. We've never seen this before. Something is very inorganic about it. But here's a double-edged sword that LeBron and Drake being so transparent during this Nike rollout, I love to call it, that was on The Shop, is that the way Maverick Carter tried to narrate the story of Drake putting his energy into that new album, Scorpion, that he had, and coming back with songs insulting anyone that was against him, it ended up leaking out that this track was written by someone else, which was exactly what Pusha T was always accusing him of. And let's keep in mind, at this very exact moment, when Drake is explaining what's going on, LeBron James's brand will forever be attached to this false narration during this rap beef. Ooh, things get sticky when one big brand attaches his name to another one, and it's all under the umbrella of Nike. Things get real sticky. You guys check it out, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
Lift Yourself comes out with him just talking nonsense. This guy's trolling me. Yeah, he's oh, this was like a manipulative, like, I want to break you thing. So I said, all right, I'm gonna go back to distancing myself again. I know what this is. And then the first album drops. And of course, there's a diss song towards me that you produced that's talking about writing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm writing for you.
I was just there with you as friends, helping you, and now you're dissing me. So I'm like, man, this is dark.
This is evil shit.
This is dark. It made me realize, and actually I text Braun after.
You guys spoke about it.
Well, it took me 4 days to really register what had happened.
Wow, he texts Braun. Do we really believe that? Once again, we have to understand the dynamics that are playing out here. Drake just lost a rap battle against Pusha T. And now in order to roll him back out in the public, because there's a lot of money invested in him through Nike, Apple Music at the time, Universal Music Group, other entities was heavily invested in him, Spotify, etc. So Nike having a piece of that investment of him just being popular and wearing their clothes and having their sneaker collabs or OVO merch associated with his brand, so much on the line with that. They rolled him out through their other Nike asset, LeBron James. So right here, this is a Nike rollout for Drake to come back in the fold. But they're going to paint this storyline. That's why LeBron James ties into all this. This is what happens when these guys are kind of in this balancing act of not only associating with other high-level celebrity brands, but also in the balancing act of trying to be cool, but trying to be universal figures. That's why you never see Michael Jordan say too much, or even Barack Obama. They're always towing that line down the middle.
And I text Braun, I said, I hope I don't let you down with my decision. And that was something I was really concerned about.
With your decision to do what, Drake?
To not do anything.
Notice how Maverick Carter is narrating everything. Yo, these Midwest guys, Rich Paul, Maverick Carter, LeBron James, they're fucking good with their propaganda machine.
To not do anything, to not respond.
I was more concerned about, like, you know, the people whose opinions I respect and the people who we thrive off competitive nature.
Of course.
But there was, you know, people love to say, like, rap purists and people who just love confrontation. They love to say, hey, man, there's no rules in this shit.
There goes Drake with that rap purist. He means the culture. There is no rap purist. It's just what's organic to the culture.
But there are fucking rules in this shit.
Of course.
And I'm gonna tell you something. It's like, I knew something was gonna come up about my kid. They had to add like the deadbeat thing to make it more appealing, which is fine. And I understand that. And even that, I was like, okay. The mom and dad thing, whatever, you know.
Now, right here, this is very interesting that LeBron never asked Drake, why did you mention the man's wife, though? You answered back, but you pulled his wife's name into it. So now there are no rules. See, LeBron is from the culture. He grew up in Akron. in unfortunate circumstances. I believe he missed school for about 60 to 90 days. So LeBron has been through it in his childhood. So he understands, like, hey, man, you cross the line, you mentioning people's families, especially their wives, it can go anywhere. But Drake, him being raised in Toronto with his mother, who's not really from that culture, she's a person from the Jewish faith. He was kind of raised in a middle-class neighborhood. He might not have that understanding, like, hey, Drake, this could have gone a completely different way. LeBron could have told him how it goes, but once again, this is a Nike rollout. They got to make this look good for Drake. But unfortunately, the song right here that they're going to talk about, it leaked. The reference track leaked that Drake did not write that shit.
Don't even know my family. It's like some, I'm gonna tell you, wishing death on my friend that has MS. I study rap battles for a living. Now, when you mention defenseless people who are sick in the hospital that passed away, that really sent me to a place where, you know, I just believed then and believe now that there's just a price that you have to pay for that. It's over. You're gonna get, someone's gonna fucking punch you in the fucking face. The shit's done, the event's over. I wanted to do other things. I didn't want to further your reputation or your career by rapping back at you and having this exchange. And that was it for me.
Drake texts you and like, am I letting you down?
Yeah, what did I tell you?
What did you say to him?
You said that I can never let you down.
I can never let you down, my fellow Nike brother. This is a good rollout, man. These texts might have never happened. That's the crazy thing. These texts could have never happened. They got script writers over there in Nike, man. These people got great branding and marketing people. They know how to roll this out. And a perfect example of it was the Ja Morant interview after his whole gun incident the first time around. They did the interview in the little clinic. It looked like, you know, he was staying at a hospital or whatever it was. And they try to spin the wheel like, oh, this is a mental health issue.
By the way, I
you're the greatest.
by the way, I did,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah.
You wrote the song.
I did,
Yeah.
and I said,
You heard Maverick Carter. You wrote the song. You wrote the song. Nike has great PR people that's around that know how to roll these things out. But again, they're dealing with a culture, a mega force like hip hop. You cannot sway the people as easily. This is a different culture to the core, and public opinion and sentiment, man, it weighs. It weighs heavily in this game.
terrible things.
You wrote the song and never put it out.
Yeah, because I got home and I just listened back to it and I was like, man, this is not something.
This is the excuse right here of why Drake couldn't come back at Pusha T after Story added on. Once again, these guys are rolling out a certain storyline, but we don't even know if this is even true. And the way Maverick Carter just announced, like, oh, you wrote the song, it's possible that Drake didn't even write it.
I ever want to be remembered for. This is not even a place that I necessarily want to go. And to all the people who enjoy that, I tip my hat to you. By the way, hell of a chess move. The song, I thought it was trash, but the chess move was genius. Back against the wall, I either go all the way filthy or I fall back and I have this sort of chink in my armor for the rest of time to a rap purist, which is fine, I can live with.
But at the end of the day, he can't go all the way because, once again, Drake, just like LeBron, they're playing the same game. They're sponsored by Nike with Drake and LeBron. Drake has Apple Music behind him, Universal Records, Spotify, all the streaming companies. There's a lot built into Drake. And make no mistake about it, Drake is the first hip-hop artist that when he was coming up, streaming was also coming up at the same time. So he sort of built into that ecosystem. There has been no other rap artists whose careers were coming up at a time when streaming was kind of being built from the ground up. So his catalog plays a huge importance to streaming. As the music executive Larry Jackson had pointed out, Drake's catalog for streaming is worth more than the Beatles, Michael Jackson, and most of the music that was made in the 70s, 50s, and 60s. Because that core audience is not necessarily on streaming, but Drake's audience is. So his catalog for streaming is worth more than the previous eras. So this shows you the level of investment that is into Drake.
that. You know, I would much rather live with that than the things that I was about to, the research I did, the things that I was gonna say, and the places that I was gonna go, not only for him, but the other guy too, you know? And
the other guy meaning Kanye, but him talking like this, he cannot go there. Once again, Drake is a corporate shield. Once you sign a $400 million deal from Universal or $500 million, whatever the amount he got, he's built into that system. He has to be Universal. They're not putting money into a guy that's going to be talking about beefing, and these guys potentially could get killed in the streets. It's not working like that.
now I feel pure, I'm good.
You feel good?
You know, yeah, and you know what I did? I took that energy, just like you said, I took that energy and I put it into me.
So right here, this is the part of the interview where they line him up and say, hey, what was all that energy you put into? What was that track? And this is where it's going to come back to bite him in the ass, because the exact track they're going to talk about right here, it's exactly what leaked out, that Drake did not write it. And this is exactly what Pusha T was talking about.
Not you. You don't get that.
You told me you didn't have certain songs on Scorpion until that.
I didn't have In My Feelings. I didn't have Nonstop. I didn't have.
What's one of our favorite songs, Mavi? Now.
Oh man, what's one of our favorite songs? LeBron is laying it up. Oh, LeBron, this shit gonna come back to bite you in the ass. You guys are hyping up a song he did not even write.
Sick of these niggas.
Oh my God.
I didn't have Mob Ties.
Oh, I'm sick of
these niggas.
I'll hire some help.
Yeah.
Get rid of these niggas.
Let's do it. It's a
Get
rap,
rid of
baby.
you. Yes, sir.
Oh man, Mob Ties. Oh, this is coming back to bite them, because during the Kendrick, Lamar, and Drake beef, it leaked out that he did not even write this. And shout out to Vori. Oh, he was straight swimming through this track. The whole cadence, the whole flow, and the fact that he mentioned Mob Ties, which is an affiliation Drake has in Houston. You could tell Vori wrote this track for Drake, because he's talking about affiliation that he has nothing to do with, but Drake does.
Stick of these niggas, huh? Stick of these bitches. Hire shooter. You ready these bitches. And I'm on my Ricky. I turn out the bitch. I turn out the bitch. It is what it is, sure. Black push, cause that Lamar moving fast. Watch your homie if he moving on his ass. In the rocket and that bitch ain't got no tag. Louis bags in exchange for body bags. Yeah. I'm sick of these niggas. Hey, I'm sick of these bitches. Huh? Sire shooter. You ready these bitches. Fuck what it was. Hey, it is what it is. Yeah. And I'm with the shits. It is what it is, and I'm so tired. Yeah. I fought with a mob and I got ties. Yeah. They'll knock you off and pay their ties. Yeah. They want me gone, but don't know why. Yeah. It's too late for all that hubbub shit. I'm supposed to have you my brother shit. That's why I'm done giving in. That's why I made myself a minute.
Damn. Oh, LeBron, this is why you can't tie yourself to guys too much, man. You don't know what they're really doing. We seen LeBron remove the P. Diddy photos or any affiliation he had with him, going to his parties right after all the accusations with P. Diddy came down. And now we're seeing a track with Vori leak out, mentioning Drake's Mob Ties. Oh, the whole cadence, the whole flow is written by someone else, but yet LeBron James on his Shop show was bigging up the track. Drake set it up. I put the energy not into him, but into my new tracks. But he's talking about tracks that he didn't even fucking write. And this is the conundrum that these guys are in when they play the social media games, the buddy games, all the PR departments at Nike, Apple, Spotify, Universal. They can't help these guys tap dance out of the public perception when things like this leak out. But again, this is a very nuanced dance that LeBron, Michael Jordan, Drake, Obama, they're all in. They got to be these universal figures, while at the same time they got to stay relevant. But in this politicized media landscape, people tend to want you to stand for something, take a side. But sometimes when you do stand on your square, guys like Kyrie Irving and Jaylen Brown, we see the company men, media members like Stephen A. Smith make comments that these guys are not as marketable. Oh, and he has anonymous sources telling them that. But again, it's a double-edged sword. We see Drake kind of paying for it right now because he doesn't necessarily stand for anything. And the hip-hop culture that he exists in, he's going to have to gain that acceptance to be relevant in that culture. And Kendrick Lamar has now put him in a spot where he has to create his own cadence without using the sounds of Atlanta, the West Coast. The OVO owl has actually been put into a cage where he might not even realize that he's in a cage. The same way figures like Obama and Michael Jordan are sort of in the same cage where they can't necessarily say too much. They can't be too opinionated. They gotta be a universal figure. LeBron James, from time to time, he teeters around that. He bends too far left or he bends too far right, but he's still doing the balancing act, him being a major Nike asset. But in hip hop culture, unfortunately, you cannot toe that line. You gotta stand for something. And that's the conundrum Drake finds himself in. But these are very interesting dynamics here at play. We've never really seen it on this type of level before. So many things mixed in, from the tech companies, social media, everything being so transparent, to the political theater in American politics is bleeding into sports, art, fashion, hip hop culture. The lines are completely blurred, man.